Hello friends, I'm Nupur Agarwal, a storyteller, and I am back with another story just for you. So today I'm going to share an adaptation of a Yiddish folktale called The Tailor and His Coat. In a town not too far from where I live, there lived a tailor. He was one of the most skilled tailors who had ever lived in that part of the town. His house was full of beautiful fabrics waiting to be turned into beautiful clothes for the beautiful people of the town. There was silk and there was georgette and satin and linen and cotton, oh you name it, and he had that fabric. As a result, his clothes were always torn and tattered. And then one morning when the tailor woke up and he stepped outside his house, he found a parcel lying at his doorstep. He picked it up and he wondered what was in it and who had left it there. And when he opened the parcel, he found a beautiful fabric in it, the softest linen he had ever touched. And along with it was a note. "Dear tailor, you've always stitched beautiful clothes for us. This is a small present for you. We hope you make yourself a fine coat." The tailor was so happy. He at once started working on the fabric. He laid the fabric on the table and he snipped and he stitched. He snipped. He snipped. He stitched and he stitched. And soon he had the coat ready. He wore the coat and he looked at himself in the mirror. Oh, how handsome, how dapper he looked. And when he wore the coat and he walked on the street, every head turned towards him and everyone had the same thought. We wish we had the coat just like the tailor. So the tailor started wearing this coat everywhere. He wore it in all seasons. And what happens when you wear something every day? It gets torn and tattered. And that's what happened to the tailor's coat. It got torn and tattered. And that was the tailor's favorite coat. He didn't want to throw it. He laid that coat on the table and he looked at it hard. And he realized that there was still enough fabric for him to turn the coat to a vest. He started working on the vest. So he snipped and he snipped. And now his vest was almost ready. He had to just stitch it. He stitched. He stitched. And there he was with a vest. And when he wore that vest and he looked at himself in the mirror, how handsome, how dapper he looked. And when he wore that vest and he walked on the street, oh, every head turned towards him and everyone who was watching him had the same thought. We wish we had the vest just like the tailor. So the tailor started wearing this vest everywhere. He wore it in all seasons. What happens when you wear something every day? It gets torn and tattered. And that's what happened to the tailor's vest. It was his favorite vest. He was feeling very sad. He didn't want to let go of it. So he put the vest on the table and he looked at it hard. And then he had an idea. He realized that there was enough fabric still left for him to turn the vest into a handkerchief. And that's what he did. So he snipped. He snipped. He snipped. He snipped. And then he stitched. He stitched. And he stitched. He folded it neatly and he put it in his shirt pocket. And when he looked at himself in the mirror, oh, how handsome, how dapper he looked. And when he wore this handkerchief and he walked down on the street, every head turned towards him and everyone who was watching him had the same thought. We wish we had a handkerchief just like the tailor. So the tailor started using this handkerchief every day. And what happens when you use something every day? it gets torn and tattered. And that's what happened to the tailor's handkerchief. The tailor was in love with his handkerchief. He didn't want to let go of it. He looked at it hard and he wondered what could he do with it. And then he realized there was still enough fabric left in it for the tailor to turn it into a button. Yes, he decided to turn the handkerchief into a button. So once again, he snipped, 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 snipped. He snipped, snipped, snipped. He snipped, snipped, snipped. And once he had cut out this button, he stitched it with golden and silver thread. So he stitched, stitched, stitched. He stitched, stitched, stitched. He stitched, stitched, stitched. And he stitched, stitched, stitched. And when that button was ready, he stitched it onto one of his shirts. When he wore the shirt with his button and he looked at himself in the mirror, oh, how handsome, how dapper he looked. When he wore this button and he walked down on the street, every head turned towards him and everyone had the same thought. We wish we had a button just like that tailor. So the tailor started wearing this particular shirt with this particular button everywhere. And guess what happened to the button? Yes, it got torn and tattered. The tailor was very sad. He removed that button from his shirt and he looked at this button hard. He wondered what could he do with it. And then he realized that there was still enough fabric left in it for him to turn the button into a story. And that's what he did. And that's the story I just told you. The story of the tailor and his coat. I hope you enjoyed listening to this story. I would also like to share that this story has multiple applications across subjects in K-8 classrooms. So right from geography to mathematics to public speaking to initiating a conversation on reduce, reuse and recycle, the possibilities are endless. I've shared some of these ideas in the comment box below. Whether you are a parent or a librarian or a teacher, I'm sure that you would love working with this story as much as I do. I would love to hear your experience of this story. So do write to me in the comment box below and I will be back with another story very soon. And one more thing, if you haven't liked or subscribed to my channel, please do so. Take care. Bye-bye.